Spicy for K action.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining me here again back on my channel. Really do appreciate it. Today, we're going to be looking at everything I watched for the month of April. So, yeah. Last month, I had a record number of movies watched, it seems. It was in the 40s. This month, I knew it wasn't going to be anywhere near close to that, just because of how busy I've been, as well as the NHL and NBA playoffs going on every single night. I am a big sports guy, so I've been watching a lot of that, and it's definitely taken away from my movie watching. But with all that said, I still watched 27 movies for the month of April, and only 4 of those were rewatches, which means only 4 of them, were ones I've already seen. Everything else was a first-time watch for me, so really nice to be able to watch, 23 new movies for me. So, yeah, let's get started. These usually take a while. I'm trying not to blabber on about every little thing, but let's go ahead and get started. So the first movie I checked out for the month of April was Cool Hand Luke. This got a 4K steelbook, so I popped that one in. Gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is just an incredible movie. Super, old, whatnot, but yeah, just a really great Paul Newman movie. I think it's one of the better movies I've seen in a long time. But yeah, Cool Hand Luke, great movie. I then watched The Burbs, which is a Blu-ray release I got from... God, I don't even remember where I got it. But anyway, I had the Blu-ray, and I put it in one time and fell asleep, I guess, halfway through it or something, because it was, so late. But anyway, I finally watched it from start to finish in this month, and I really enjoyed it. 3.5 out of 5. Tom Hanks. This is a pretty funny, weird movie. Definitely be checking that one out again. I then watched Airplane 2, the sequel. I picked this up on Blu-ray. It came in a 2-pack with the original Airplane. And I love Airplane. I just had never seen the second one. And boy, is this ridiculous. It's just as ridiculous, if not even crazier, because now they're going to space. It's just, full of gags, one-liners, typical stuff. Not as good as the first one, but it's still a classic. I gave it 3 out of 5, sorry. I then watched MacArthur from 1977. This is another Blu-ray I picked up. I just hadn't seen before. Really enjoyed that movie. Kind of chronicling his life at the end of World War II and going into the Korean War. 3.5 out of 5 for me. Then I made it to the theater and watched the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I wasn't super excited to go see this. I'll be honest. I played the original Mario when I was a kid, and I've played a few others. And I know, I have friends that are huge into Mario and stuff. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I just wasn't, huge into it. But I got pulled into it by some friends, and I really enjoyed it. Yes, there was some references and stuff to some games that I didn't play that I didn't understand, but it didn't stop me from enjoying this movie. I thought the animation looked great. It had some funny one-liners. Obviously, Jack Black, I think, killed it as Bowser. The whole Peaches song is great. This is just a fun, quick, easy watch movie for me. I'll probably pick this one up on physical media, but I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Really enjoyed that. I then watched John Wick Chapter 4 in theaters. Long movie, but boy, man, every time I see Donnie Yen, I just become a bigger fan of his. I really need to deep dive into some of his older films before he made, huge and mainstream. But yeah, I thought he killed it in this movie, and he kind of made this movie for me. I mentioned it is long, but this is John Wick. Just a lot of action, a lot of fun. I had a great time with it. I gave it 4 out of 5. Definitely going to be picking that one up on physical media. I then watched The Maltese Falcon, which got a 4K release, so I was really happy to be able to check that one out. I really did enjoy that one. I then got a recommendation from TurnerFan77 to watch The Life of Pi, the movie I had never seen, and I am so happy that he recommended that. Thank you so much, dude. That movie was incredible. I didn't know really what to expect. I knew the cover had, a guy on it with a tiger, but I didn't really know where it was going. And yeah, this movie is phenomenal. I definitely want to pick this up and add it to the collection at some point. I know there's a 4K release, but yeah, I'm just gonna have to look around and see if I can find a deal or if they come out with some, you know, special edition of that. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Gave Life of Pi 4 out of 5. I then one of my first rewatches of the month, just a classic. I put on Back to the Future on 4K. Just can't go wrong with it. It was like a Sunday afternoon, just killing some time before a hockey game, and just watch Back to the Future. Just absolutely love it. 4.5 out of 5. If not a masterpiece, it's right there for me. Really enjoyed that. I then watched As Good as It Gets. I have the Columbia Classics Volume 3 set, which of course, As Good as It Gets came in 4K, and I finally gave it a watch, and I'm glad I did. This was one where I always thought it was just more of a romantic movie than a comedy, but this is really, I think, more comedy than romance. I mean, there is that at the end, but I just had a blast with Jack Nicholson just acting like a complete asshole the whole first half of the movie. I don't know why. I just felt like that's really his personality. He really played that to a T, but it was really awesome to see Cuba in this as well. He had a funny role in this. I enjoyed this movie a whole heck a lot more than I thought I did, but 3.5 out of 5, really highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's a great movie. You know, at first I was like, why did they add this to the Columbia Classics? Then I'm watching, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see this is a good movie. Anyway, moving on. I then watched I Am Legend. It came in a 2-pack with Book of Eli on Blu-ray for me, and I popped it in. This was another rewatch for me, but this was the first time I watched the alternate cut. I didn't even know there was an alternate cut until I put in the movie and it asked. And I was like, okay. And then I started researching it, and I'm like, oh, there's a new one supposedly in the works coming out, I Am Legend 2, and it's going to be based off of the alternate cut. So I was like, well, might as well put that one in. Still don't know which version of the film I like more. It's definitely different. But, you know, all in all, I still enjoyed the movie a lot. Apparently it's got a 4K. I need to find that. I then watched 12 Angry Men. This was the 1997 TV version of it. Came in that special features on the Kino Lorber set. I really liked it. Again, it's hard to compete with a masterpiece like the original, but, you know, I give them credit. All the actors and everything in this movie played it great, and I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, so really did enjoy that. I then watched Venom Let There Be Carnage. Had a lot of fun with that during the second time watch. I don't know why. The first time I watched this movie, I was not a fan, even though I really liked the first Venom. But this second watch through, I guess I appreciated the jokes more. I don't know. Maybe I was just in a different mood, but I really did enjoy this a lot more. Not a masterpiece by any means, but I gave it 3 out of 5. Something I enjoy. I'll watch it again for sure. I then watched Hollow Man, which was a part of the Kevin Bacon 6-movie set I got. And that's a weird movie. Very weird. Again, I heard of this movie and knew of it, but didn't know really what to expect. Pretty bizarre, pretty crazy. He gets pretty wild, but nothing spectacular for me. But it was fun and definitely something I'll revisit. But it only got a 3 out of 5 for me. I then watched Kubo and the Two Strings, and I watched it, but there's definitely a couple of minutes that I've missed in certain parts, so I'm kind of kicking myself for that, so I'm probably missed some important things, but I still enjoyed the movie a lot. You know, the animation just looks incredible on 4K. The steelbook's incredible. I gave it 3.5 out of 5, but I'm definitely going to need to rewatch that one. I then watched Rebel Without a Cause. It got the 4K steelbook from Best Buy, and it was my first James Dean movie I've ever seen. And it was just nice to see it in 4K. It looked fantastic. I thought he was great in it, and I'm a huge fan of that movie and of him. You know, not the best thing I've ever seen in the world, but it was better than, it was above average. We'll say that. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I then watched, going from Rebel Without a Cause to the 2009 hit Black Dynamite. This is just a fun satire movie. Again, I've said it before. It's probably not for everyone. I mean, I know it's not for everyone, but it is very funny. He's got Michael J. White in. If you don't know who that is, it's the dude that played Spawn. And he's just absolutely hilarious in this. Even his side characters like Cream Corn and everyone else, I mean, they're just absolutely hilarious. Black Dynamite, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I then watched Red Eye this was another rewatch for me. Got the 4K from Paramount Presents. I liked it. It just wasn't as good as I remember it being, but it was still good, and it's a quick watch, so I liked it. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. Sorry, just a 3. So it wasn't that great. Next movie I watched was All Quiet on the Western Front. I had put this movie in previous, but never watched it in its entirety. I had watched some different parts of it just to see how good it looked. But yeah, I finally did watch it all the way from start to finish. What a great movie. This is an awesome movie. I could see why it got nominated for all the things it got nominated for. It's crazy just how they just tell a great story, and it's all true for the most part. It's sad. It's got everything in it. Just like the looks and how joyous and excited they were at the beginning of the film to join the war to the end is just it's just heartbreaking. But yeah, it's a really great movie. Tells the side of the German side for World War I, and I highly recommend it. That's definitely a movie I'll be rewatching maybe once a year, so who knows, but I loved it. It looks freaking gorgeous on an OLED. Next movie I watched was History of Violence, a Cronenberg movie I actually enjoyed. Say it isn't so. This is probably one of his less weird movies. It's got Viggo Mortensen in it, I believe, and a couple others. Ed Harris is in this, plays a really cool, crazy guy. I liked this movie a lot. Wasn't a masterpiece by any means, but I don't really enjoy a lot of Cronenberg movies, so I was happy to enjoy this one, and it was part of that 10 movie set that I got, so gave it a 3 out of 5. I then watched 12 Angry Men, the original from 1957, and I actually do have a review of this. Didn't say much. Just so good. Looks great on 4K. That's funny. But yeah, this is a masterpiece in my opinion. It's one of the best movies ever made. And for me, I rarely give movies 5 stars on Letterboxd, but this one is a 5-star for me. I then watched Evil Dead Rise in theaters. I'm not the biggest Evil Dead fan, even though I own all the Evil Dead movies on 4K. But some of my buddies are huge into Evil Dead, so they dragged me to this. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. It was brutal, violent, all those things, scary in some parts, but it wasn't as good as some other ones that I liked. Like I liked the remake they made just a couple years ago a lot better than this. But yeah, it's just weird just not being in that cabin setting. But they got those throwbacks in there that are nice. But I gave it a 3 out of 5. I didn't love this movie. I didn't even click the heart on Letterboxd, so don't hate me, but I definitely need to rewatch this one, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that. And then I watched Double Jeopardy. This came out on Paramount Presents, and I added it to the collection when it was on sale. This is such a good movie. I didn't think I was going to like this movie as much as I did after rewatching it, but man, this is really good. There's so many good scenes in this. Tommy Lee Jones, Ashley Judd is phenomenal. I don't know where she's been, but she was great in this. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. All right, and then I watched The Man Who Fell to Earth, and this is going to be the worst movie, in my opinion, that I watched all month. I just couldn't get into it. I watched it from start to finish, but I felt it was just too boring in parts, just too weird in others. I just didn't have a great time with it. I watched it because I got the 4K Steelbook. I might be selling it, so if you're looking to pick it up, maybe we can make a deal or something. If you're a real fan of the movie, I love David Bowie as a musician. I just didn't care for this movie. I want to give it another rewatch for sure before selling or trading it, but I have to admit I am not a fan of this movie. I gave it a 2 out of 5, and that to me is probably generous. I then watched a Netflix movie called Chupa, which is kind of like a family movie, about the mythical chupacabra down in Mexico. I had fun with this movie. It's a really nice movie, nothing to take too seriously, but, good, heartwarming at the end, I guess you could say. But yeah, it was good. I'd recommend it. You check it out at least once. Probably wouldn't pick it up if it went on physical, but 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it. I then watched, just on Friday, Sisu in theaters, the brand new movie. Go see this movie. That's all I can say. Go see this movie. You can read my review down below here on the screen, but I'm telling you, if you like action, this is it. There's no complex storylines. There's no crazy character development, really. It's just a dude trying to get his gold into town so he can, get some money for the gold, and these Nazis who are trying to take the gold from him. And let's just say lots and lots of Nazis die in just some brutal and crazy ways. This was a very fun movie. It's super quick. It's only 90 minutes, but it flies by. It's also a chapter-based movie. But yeah, this is a blast. I would highly recommend you go check this one out in theaters if you're into these kind of movies. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. Not many words said by him, if any. I'll leave that a secret. But yeah, this is going to be a day one purchase for me. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is the best movie I've seen of this year so far for me. It's not going to be for everyone, especially if you're not into the violent type movies. But this one was so good. So many things you'd think that you've seen it all in action movies with Commando and Rambo and whatever else movie. Throw a movie in there. But yeah, trust me, there's some new things in here that will make you smile for sure. And the last movie I watched for the month of April was Police Story 3 Super Cop, the 88 Films 4K limited edition set. I actually watched the Hong Kong version and the US version, and I have to say, without a doubt, the Hong Kong version is way better in my opinion than the American version. It's like the jokes I think are funnier. They do some like ties between the relations between Chinese and Hong Kong back then. So they took that out of the American version because they didn't think Americans would get it, which I totally understand. But just some of the music is different, and there's other scenes that are cut out of it that I didn't agree with. But all in all, this is just an absolutely awesome movie. I'm so happy I was able to see it, and I'll definitely be rewatching this one for a while because Michelle Yeoh and Jackie Chan are just incredible in this movie. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's all the movies I watched, and that was a 3.5 out of 5 for that one. For the month of April, let me know down in the comments if you saw any of these movies or what your favorite movie for the month of April was. Let me know if you've seen any of the newer releases that I reviewed as well. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the views, the likes, comments. All your support is so much appreciated. I can't say it enough. Thank you, guys. I hope everyone has a fantastic week, and we will see you all in the next one.